The truth is that long before this moment arrived, something inside you was already being prepared for it. Even during the years when nothing seemed to be changing, when your prayers felt unanswered, when your efforts appeared unnoticed, and when your heart carried burdens too heavy to explain, your spirit was quietly growing stronger. Many people look at a breakthrough and assume it happened suddenly, but those who have walked through difficult seasons know that the most important transformations happen in silence. They happen during the nights when nobody sees the tears. They happen during the mornings when getting out of bed feels harder than anyone realizes. They happen during the countless moments when a person chooses to keep going despite disappointment, exhaustion, and uncertainty. If you have been feeling as though life has been taking longer than expected to make sense, there is a reason this message is reaching you today. Your spirit has been preparing for this moment for years. Every challenge you endured carried a lesson. Every setback developed a strength. Every closed door taught you something that could not have been learned any other way. There were seasons when you felt forgotten. Seasons when people overlooked your value. Seasons when your kindness was mistaken for weakness and your patience was mistaken for passivity. Yet through all of it, something remarkable was taking place beneath the surface. The person you are today is not the same person you were when those struggles first began. You have become stronger, wiser, deeper, and more resilient. You survived experiences that would have caused many people to surrender. You carried responsibilities while silently battling your own fears. You continued showing kindness even when life gave you reasons to become bitter. You kept believing even when the evidence around you seemed to suggest otherwise. That kind of perseverance does not happen by accident. It is forged through experience. It is built through endurance. It is strengthened through faith. There may have been times when you wondered whether your sacrifices mattered. You may have questioned whether all the waiting had any purpose. You may have looked at other people moving ahead while your own path seemed delayed. Yet delays are not always signs of denial. Sometimes they are signs of preparation. Sometimes what feels like standing still is actually a season of becoming. The roots of a tree grow deep before the branches reach high. In the same way, the foundation of your future has been quietly forming during the seasons that felt slow, lonely, and uncertain. Many people never realize how much strength they possess because they never face circumstances that require it. You, however, discovered strengths you never knew existed because life demanded them from you. You learned how to keep moving when your heart was tired. You learned how to remain kind when others were unkind. You learned how to hold on to hope when circumstances seemed hopeless. Those lessons were not meaningless. They became part of who you are. They shaped your character. They refined your perspective. They prepared you for responsibilities and opportunities that require a stronger version of yourself. Sometimes people assume that preparation feels exciting, but often it feels uncomfortable. Growth rarely announces itself while it is happening. More often it feels like confusion. It feels like uncertainty. It feels like wondering why things are taking so long. Yet when you look back, you begin to see the hidden purpose woven through the journey. You begin to recognize that certain disappointments protected you from situations that would not have served you well. You begin to understand that certain delays gave you time to develop qualities that became essential later. You begin to see that certain losses made room for healthier opportunities. The perspective that comes with time often reveals blessings that were impossible to recognize in the moment. If you have spent years feeling different, there may be a reason. People who carry deep compassion often feel misunderstood. People who think deeply often feel disconnected from superficial conversations. People who value authenticity often struggle in environments where appearances matter more than character. That sense of difference can feel isolating, but it can also be evidence of something valuable within you. Not everyone is meant to follow the crowd. Not everyone is meant to fit neatly into every environment. Some people are called to develop a deeper understanding of life through experiences that set them apart. If that has been your story, know that your value has never depended on how well you fit into places that were not meant for you. Your value has always existed independently of other people's recognition. One of the hardest lessons many people learn is that being overlooked does not mean being unimportant. There are treasures hidden beneath the ground that remain unseen for years, yet their value never changes. In the same way, Your worth has never been determined by applause, attention, or approval. Your worth existed before anyone acknowledged it. Your worth remained intact during every season of rejection. Your worth survived every disappointment and every misunderstanding. Sometimes God develops people in private before placing them in situations where their gifts can be fully expressed. Private seasons are not punishments. They are preparation. They are opportunities to build strength without distraction. They are opportunities to develop character without pressure. They are opportunities to discover who you truly are beneath the expectations and opinions of others. Looking back, you may realize that some of your greatest victories happened when nobody was watching. The moments when you chose faith instead of fear. The moments when you chose forgiveness instead of resentment. The moments when you chose perseverance instead of surrender. Those victories may never appear in headlines, but they helped shape the person you have become. They mattered. They still matter. There is something powerful about recognizing how far you have come. Many people focus so intensely on what remains ahead that they forget to acknowledge the distance they have already traveled. Yet your journey deserves recognition. You survived difficult conversations. You survived heartbreak. You survived disappointment. You survived seasons when the future felt unclear. You survived moments when your confidence was shaken. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. The fact that you continue searching for meaning, growth, and hope demonstrates a resilience that cannot be measured by external success alone. There is a quiet strength within you that has carried you through more than most people know. It remained present during every challenge. It remained present during every setback. It remained present during every moment when giving up seemed easier than moving forward. That strength is evidence that your story is still unfolding. It is evidence that difficult chapters do not have the final word. It is evidence that your future is not limited by your past. Sometimes healing happens gradually. Sometimes confidence returns slowly. Sometimes purpose reveals itself one step at a time. Yet progress does not have to be dramatic to be meaningful. Every small act of courage matters. Every decision to keep believing matters. Every effort to move forward matters. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. Not every battle you fought was in vain. There is a strength within you that kept moving forward, even on your darkest days. You are worth far more than the moments that tried to make you feel small. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. The seasons that tested you were also shaping who you were becoming. The years were not wasted. The waiting was not meaningless. The struggles were not without purpose. Your spirit has been preparing for this moment for far longer than you realize, and even now, something beautiful is continuing to unfold within you. If this message encouraged your heart and reminded you of the strength that has carried you through every season, subscribe to the channel and continue walking alongside others who are seeking faith, healing, purpose, and hope. May these messages keep reminding you that your journey matters, your perseverance matters, and the best parts of your story may still be ahead of you. There comes a point in every long journey when a person begins to realize that the greatest transformation was never happening around them, but within them. For years, you may have been focused on the circumstances you wanted to change. You may have prayed for certain doors to open, certain relationships to improve, certain opportunities to arrive, or certain burdens to disappear. Yet while your attention was fixed on those external outcomes, something far more important was taking shape beneath the surface. Your spirit was learning lessons that could not be taught through comfort alone. It was developing wisdom through experience. It was building resilience through adversity. It was creating a depth of character that only emerges when a person continues moving forward, despite uncertainty. Looking back now, you may see that many of the moments that seemed unfair at the time became some of the most important chapters in your growth. The rejection that wounded your confidence taught you how to find value within yourself instead of depending entirely on the approval of others. The disappointments that broke your expectations taught you flexibility, patience, and trust. The loneliness that once felt unbearable taught you how to discover strength in your own company and how to develop a deeper connection with your faith. None of those lessons were easy. Many of them came through tears, frustration, and confusion. Yet they left behind something valuable that could not have been gained any other way. The truth is that people often underestimate what they have survived. Human beings have a tendency to focus on what remains unresolved while overlooking the victories they have already achieved. You may still see areas of your life that need healing, growth, or change. That is natural. But do not forget the battles you have already won. Do not forget the fears you have already faced. Do not forget the obstacles you have already overcome. There were moments in your past when you wondered whether you would make it through certain situations. Yet here you are, stronger, wiser, more aware of your own resilience, more capable than you once believed. The fact that you are still moving forward is evidence of a strength that deserves recognition. Some people assume strength looks like confidence at all times, but true strength often appears in much quieter forms. It appears when someone gets up after disappointment and tries again. It appears when someone chooses kindness after being hurt. It appears when someone continues believing that better days are possible, even while walking through difficult seasons. You have demonstrated that kind of strength more times than you realize. You may not have felt powerful while carrying those burdens, but the simple act of continuing forward revealed a remarkable endurance. Every day you refused to surrender added another layer to the foundation of your character. Every setback you survived expanded your capacity to handle future challenges. Every difficult season increased your understanding of both yourself and others. There is a compassion within many chosen people that develops specifically because of what they have endured. When you know what pain feels like, you become more aware of the struggles hidden behind other people's smiles. When you understand disappointment, you become more gentle with those who are discouraged. When you have experienced loneliness, you become more sensitive to those who feel unseen. This is one of the beautiful ways difficult experiences can create something meaningful. They do not simply leave scars. They can also produce empathy, wisdom, and understanding. The hardships you endured may have given you the ability to encourage someone else one day in ways that few others could. They may have prepared you to offer comfort that comes from genuine experience rather than theory. There is value in that. There is purpose in that. There is something sacred about a heart that remains compassionate after suffering. One of the greatest misconceptions people carry is the belief that their worth depends on visible success. Many spend years chasing validation, trying to prove their value through accomplishments, recognition, or approval. Yet true worth cannot be earned because it already exists. You were valuable before your victories. You were valuable during your failures. You were valuable when nobody noticed your efforts. You were valuable during the seasons when you doubted yourself. Your worth has never been dependent upon circumstances. It has never been dependent upon popularity. It has never been dependent upon how others chose to treat you. Sometimes, the most important realization a person can have is that they do not need permission from the world to recognize their own value. The world can overlook greatness. The world can misunderstand kindness. The world can ignore faithfulness. Yet none of those things change what is true. There are people who never received the recognition they deserved while they were struggling, but their efforts still mattered. Their character still mattered. Their perseverance still mattered. In the same way, your journey matters even if it has unfolded differently than you expected. Your story matters even if it contains chapters you wish had been easier. Your faith matters even when answers arrive slowly. God often works in ways that are difficult to understand while they are happening. There are seasons when progress feels invisible. There are seasons when growth feels slow. There are seasons when it seems as though nothing is changing. Yet beneath the surface, transformation continues. A seed spends a long time developing before it breaks through the soil. During that hidden period, it may appear as though nothing is happening, but vital work is taking place. The same can be true in your life. What appears quiet may actually be preparation. What appears delayed may actually be developing. What appears uncertain may actually be moving toward a future that requires more preparation than you currently understand. This perspective does not erase pain, but it can bring meaning to it. It can remind you that difficult seasons are not necessarily signs of abandonment. They can be seasons of refinement, strengthening, and growth. If you have ever felt forgotten, remember this. Being unseen by people is not the same as being unseen by God. Human beings miss things. They overlook sacrifices. They fail to notice silent struggles. They often see only the surface. But God sees what others miss. He sees the moments when you kept going despite exhaustion. He sees the prayers spoken through tears. He sees the acts of kindness that received no recognition. He sees the courage it took to keep believing during difficult times. Nothing meaningful is wasted. The lessons learned, the character developed, the compassion cultivated, the faith strengthened. These things continue shaping your future long after the difficult season ends. There is also something important about understanding that preparation does not always feel exciting. Many people imagine preparation as a season filled with obvious progress and visible rewards. In reality, preparation often feels ordinary. It feels repetitive, it feels uncertain. Yet it is during those ordinary days that important foundations are built. Consistency develops character, patience develops endurance, faith develops trust. Small choices repeated over time create profound transformations. The person you are becoming is being shaped not only by dramatic moments, but also by the quiet decisions you make every day. Every time you choose hope instead of despair, something grows within you. Every time you choose gratitude instead of bitterness, something strengthens within you. Every time you choose faith instead of fear, something deepens within you. Those choices matter. They are part of the preparation. They are part of the reason your spirit has become stronger than it once was. You may not fully understand everything you have been prepared for yet, and that is all right. Life rarely reveals its entire plan at once. Often the next step becomes clear only after the current step has been taken. What matters is recognizing that your journey has not been random. Your experiences have not been meaningless. Your perseverance has not been wasted. The growth that has occurred within you is real. The wisdom you have gained is real. The resilience you have developed is real. These qualities will continue serving you in ways you may not yet see. If this message has helped you recognize the value of your journey and the strength that God has been building within you through every season, subscribe to the channel and remain connected to messages that encourage faith, healing, growth, and purpose. Sometimes the reminder you need arrives through a simple message that helps you see your own story with fresh hope and renewed confidence. Perhaps one of the most beautiful truths you can carry with you today is the understanding that your life is not defined by the chapters that hurt the most. For many years, you may have measured your journey through the lens of what went wrong. You may have focused on the opportunities that disappeared, the relationships that ended, the dreams that took longer than expected, or the seasons that left you feeling isolated and misunderstood. When pain lasts for a long time, it can begin to feel like the entire story. It can become so familiar that it overshadows everything else. Yet your story has always been bigger than your struggles. Your story includes every moment you found the strength to rise again. It includes every act of courage that nobody applauded. It includes every quiet victory that happened behind closed doors. It includes every lesson, every breakthrough, every act of faith, and every choice to keep moving forward when standing still would have been easier. The reason your spirit has been preparing for this moment for years is because the person you are becoming required experiences that could not be rushed. Character takes time to develop. Wisdom takes time to mature. Faith takes time to deepen. Compassion takes time to grow roots. Some of the qualities you now carry were formed through seasons you would never have chosen for yourself. Yet those same seasons produced strengths that are now part of your identity. You understand perseverance because you have lived it. You understand patience because you have practiced it. You understand hope because you have needed it. You understand grace because you have experienced your own imperfections. These are not small things. These are treasures developed through experience. There is a maturity that comes from surviving difficult seasons with your heart still open. Many people become hardened after disappointment. Many become cynical after betrayal. Many lose hope after repeated setbacks. Yet despite everything you have faced, there is still something within you that believes better days are possible. There is still something within you that desires growth, meaning, purpose, and connection. That is significant. It reveals that your spirit has not been defeated. It reveals that your faith has endured. It reveals that the challenges you faced may have tested you, but they did not destroy the deepest parts of who you are. Sometimes people look at a strong person and assume that strength came naturally. They do not see the years of struggle that developed it. They do not see the nights of uncertainty. They do not see the private battles. They do not see the disappointments that had to be overcome. Strength often looks effortless from a distance because others only see the result, not the process. Yet you know the process. You know what it took to keep believing. You know what it took to keep loving. You know what it took to keep showing up for life even when your heart felt tired. Those experiences matter. They are evidence of a resilience that cannot be measured by external achievements alone. There may have been times when you questioned your purpose because life was not unfolding according to your expectations. Many people assume that purpose arrives as a dramatic revelation, but often purpose reveals itself through the way a person lives each day. It reveals itself in kindness. It reveals itself in integrity. It reveals itself in faithfulness. It reveals itself in the willingness to encourage others, despite personal struggles. It reveals itself in choosing hope when despair would be easier. Purpose is not always found in extraordinary moments. Sometimes it is expressed through ordinary faithfulness over long periods of time. You may already be living out parts of your purpose without fully realizing it. Every life touches other lives. Every act of compassion creates impact. Every word of encouragement matters. Every example of perseverance teaches something to those who are watching. Even during seasons when you felt invisible, your life carried meaning. Even during seasons when you felt overlooked, your presence mattered. The world often measures value according to visibility, but true significance is often found in quieter places. Consider the countless times you have helped someone simply by listening. Consider the moments when your kindness brightened another person's difficult day. Consider the encouragement you offered while carrying your own burdens. These things matter more than you realize. The preparation of your spirit was never solely about you. It was also about the lives you would influence through the wisdom, compassion, and strength developed along the way. One day, you may look back and realize that some of the very experiences you wished to avoid became the experiences that allowed you to help others most effectively. Pain has a way of deepening understanding. Struggle has a way of increasing compassion. Healing has a way of creating empathy. What once felt like a burden can eventually become a source of encouragement for someone else. That does not mean the pain was easy. It does not mean the struggle was pleasant. It simply means that good things can emerge from difficult places. Throughout history, some of the strongest people have been those who walked through hardship without allowing hardship to define them. They acknowledged their wounds, but they did not build their identity around them. They learned from adversity without becoming consumed by it. They allowed difficult experiences to teach them, while refusing to let those experiences determine their future. You have that same opportunity. The challenges you faced are part of your story, but they are not the conclusion of your story. The disappointments you experienced are chapters, not the final page. The delays you endured are seasons, not permanent destinations. There is still more ahead. There is still growth ahead. There is still healing ahead. There is still purpose ahead. There is still joy ahead. The future does not have to look exactly as you once imagined for it to contain beauty, meaning, and fulfillment. Sometimes the life that ultimately emerges is different from the one originally envisioned, yet richer in ways that could not have been anticipated. This is why hope remains so powerful. Hope is not denial of difficulty. Hope is the belief that difficulty is not the end. Hope is the confidence that new possibilities still exist. Hope is the quiet assurance that your journey continues. If you have carried disappointment, let this be a reminder that your worth remains intact. If you have carried loneliness, let this be a reminder that your life still matters deeply. If you have carried exhaustion, let this be a reminder that rest and renewal are possible. If you have carried doubt, let this be a reminder that growth often continues even when certainty is absent. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. Some of your greatest victories happened in silence when nobody was watching. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. Your story has value even if it did not unfold the way you expected. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. God saw the moments when you almost gave up but chose to continue. God saw the faith you held onto when answers seemed distant. Nothing about your journey has been invisible to Him. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you the knowledge that the years were accomplishing more than you understood. Your spirit was being prepared. Your character was being strengthened. Your faith was being refined. Your perspective was being expanded. Your resilience was being built. The person you are today possesses strengths that did not exist years ago. Those strengths are part of the preparation. They are part of the reason you can face the future with greater confidence than before. The road ahead may still contain challenges, but it also contains possibilities. It contains opportunities for growth, connection, healing, and purpose. Most importantly, it contains the continuation of a story that is far from over. If these messages have encouraged your heart and reminded you that your journey carries meaning, subscribe to the channel and continue receiving words that strengthen faith, inspire perseverance, and encourage personal growth. May each message help you remember that you are not forgotten, your struggles were not meaningless, and there is still great value in the path that lies ahead.